So, today I am going to be doing a demonstration of the water cycle. So, as we know, we have bodies of water and we have clouds. So, if you boil a kettle or a saucepan, you end up seeing gas, like steam for example. So, as we heat water, water turns from a liquid to a gas. And this is what we call water vapor. So this is a process known as evaporation. So if you boil the kettle, you notice steam goes upwards into the air. And if you see mountains, for example, in Sicily during winter time, you might notice that, for example, Mount Etna has snow on top. And that's because the higher up you go into the sky, the colder it gets. So, as we see here, we have steam, and it is clearly moving towards the west. So, as this steam moves upwards, it cools and condenses to form clouds. And this is known as condensation. Now, as we see again, steam is moving this direction, and this is influenced by wind. So when you see clouds moving across the sky, it's because they're influenced by wind. Now, as clouds move across the sky, they're continuously absorbing water. And as you notice with clouds, some clouds are white, some clouds are grey. And if a cloud is very grey, for example, it means that it has absorbed a lot of water. Now, if you were playing in the rain, for example, and your clothes got extremely wet, and you could wring them dry, you would describe that as saturated. It can't absorb any more water. And, if you dipped your clothes into water, for example, it would be completely wet and would start dripping water. And clouds are the same. If a cloud absorbs so much water that it can't hold any more, rain falls from the sky, and this is known as precipitation. So we'll open this lid here. As you can see, the steam is moving. We take this towel here, and we're going to saturate it. So just dip it a little bit in the water. As you can see, that bit of towel's in the water. It can't hold any more. And what happens to the water? It starts falling. And this falls onto the ground below, where we are living, obviously. So let's take Malta, for example. The west side of the island is much higher in elevation than the east. You don't have beaches in Dingley, for example, but you do in St. Julian, Sliema, and places like that. So water moves downwards, it never moves upwards. So you never get a lot of flooding in the west during heavy rainfall, but you would often hear, and you might notice yourselves, that the east of the island gets flooded quite often, like Msida, for example. So let's recap. The first process is known as evaporation, where the body of water is being heated by the sun. The gas moves upwards into the air and cools and condenses to form clouds, as you can see there in the distance. That cloud, or in this situation we have steam, as you can see the steam is moving because it's influenced by the wind. And eventually that cloud absorbs so much liquid it can't hold any more, and it releases the liquid it's holding, and this is called precipitation or rainfall. This rainfall falls down towards the ground and then moves forwards towards the sea under influence of gravity and slope. So in Malta, this goes towards the east of the island, much lower to the sea level, and it goes back into the sea and the process starts again.